A swath of Boston Common is a lot more colorful this week, thanks to the work of artist Julia Vogel, who's using her interactions with everyday people to create what she calls pathways to freedom. And as arts editor Jared Bowen shows us, it's all about the immigrant experience.
On an early spring day, London-based artist Julia Vogel set up shop in Boston City Hall. It's one of 27 stops she made throughout the region to meet people for her art installation.
Do you have 2 minutes for us to do an audio interview about your relationship to immigration?
Vogel's project is called Pathways to Freedom, an expansive mosaic around the Soldiers and Sailors Monument on Boston Common. It's a public art project commissioned by the Jewish Arts Collaborative, using the Passover holiday as a springboard.
The story of Passover is very much the Exodus story, and thinking about the Exodus story today is about leaving a place of oppression, crossing a body of water, spending 40 years in tents. That very much is what refugees are going through today. It's not so different.
Vogel met 1,800 people this spring, asking 4 questions about immigration and freedom. Their answers are then coded to images used to create colorful discs.
Here are the stickers that represent what you've just chosen.
People who took the survey walked away with a pin and some introspection.
My project is very much has the aim of being a catalyst for a larger conversation. I think that we take freedom for granted. I think that for me, immigration is a point of pride for America. I'm a first-generation American.
Answering the questions myself, I found they ranged from the straightforward,
when did you or your family come to the Boston area,
to the much more subjective.
This is more of when do you feel free?
So when I vote, when I get to play outside, when I don't worry about money, I can spend time doing whatever I want to do, go where I want, I go to bed at night and feel safe. You really get in there with these questions. This is very existential, isn't it?
Well, freedom's an abstract concept. We're trying to make it more relatable.
You know what? I'm going to go with I go to bed at night and feel safe.
Okay.
A month later, we find Vogel on Boston Common. Those little pins have been recreated as discs for this mural that will stretch around the monument.
We see heart-wrenching here.
So there's 44 phrases that will be included in the installation, and they each are words from different interviews.
It's a riot of color, but as you take it in, there are some patterns. Like lots of green, for example.
Green represents people saying, yes, I feel free. So you can already see how common it is across here.
Vogel describes herself as a social sculptor, in the vein of artists Christo and the late Jean-Claude, whose projects, like the gates in Central Park, radically alter the landscape for a moment.
I've kind of used it to literally break down a process of engaging people in social activities, right? You came to the cart either with friends or met strangers and had a shared experience. And then all of that has built kind of a visual residue, which is what this project is.
What it is not, she says, for both the people she's spoken with and who happen upon Pathways, is an attempt to convert people on issues of immigration.
We definitely had people who had different understandings about what being an immigrant is and also what the immigration story has been and what it should be. And I'm hoping that that will just foster more of a dialogue and conversation rather than kind of shut down conversations.
That was arts editor Jared Bowen reporting. You can see the Pathways to Freedom installation in person on the Boston Common through this Wednesday, May 2nd. While you're there, you can visit jartsboston.org/pathways to listen to audio from some of the anonymous individual stories the project represents.